In this article, I want to help you figure out if you're acting like a pushover or if you're just being kind. Additionally, I'll teach you how to be more determined and set boundaries without feeling guilty about it. All your actions have an effect on people. You can teach them to respect you or to take advantage of you. You probably already know this, but you've been feeling unable to do so. That's because you've learned since you were young that you should be a nice person, that you should help others and be kind. Now it's all you know how to do. You weren't taught to set boundaries and stand your ground, and when you did, you were punished. Treated like a rebellious or poorly behaved child. Get ready, because now you're going to learn exactly the opposite of what you've been taught your whole life. Signs I'm being a pushover. The first sign of someone being a pushover is feeling bad when thinking about saying no. They feel guilty for not doing a favor, for declining an invitation, or for defending themselves when they feel offended. This happens because they care too much about what others think of them and can't bear the idea of someone speaking ill of them or thinking they acted poorly at some point. Another sign in the life of someone acting this way is doing things they don't want to do to please someone, and then feeling bad for having done so. You regret it and think, I shouldn't have done that. I should have said such and such to him. But now it's over, it's okay. At least he didn't get upset with me. After doing it and feeling bad, you still try to convince yourself that it was worth going through, and that your feelings aren't relevant, that what matters is that you were good to someone. One circumstance that influences this behavior is feeling dependent on someone. Whenever you feel like you depend on someone for something, you're submitting yourself. Your beliefs tie you to people and relationship dynamics that harm you. Thoughts like, I must always please my mother because she did everything for me. I have to accept that my husband treats me like this because he pays my bills. I can't distance myself from this person because they're my only friend. Are tying you to realities that take away your freedom. You should indeed please your mother, respect your husband, and nurture your friendships, but all within limits. How to discover what your limit is. I'll start this explanation by illustrating an example. You have a friend who has been hospitalized for a week, and 3 days ago you stayed with her in the hospital so her family could rest. Today, her mother calls you asking you to go there to take care of her again, informing you that you should arrive there at 5 p.m. However, you and your husband had planned a week ago to go out for dinner since this was one of the rare breaks he got from his job. What would you do? If you're a pushover, you'll call your husband and cancel, informing him that there was an emergency and that you need to take care of your friend. If you're a good person, you'll tell your friend's mother to call another family member, because you have a commitment and you can go to the hospital in 2 days if it's still necessary. If you cancel with your husband, you'll frustrate him, miss a special moment with him, and feel guilty. The problem with being a pushover is that you try to please everyone at the same time, and with that, always disappoint someone. You need to understand that you can't do everything at the same time, so you need to decide and evaluate each situation to understand what's worth doing. If you think before trying to please your friend and her mother, you'll realize that your friend has other friends and other relatives who could stay with her, but your husband only has one wife to have dinner with him. Your friend could have the company of someone else. Your husband can't have dinner with another woman. Saying no in this case isn't being bad or selfish. After all, you already took care of her once and offered to go again in the future. Those are good actions. You should help people whenever you can, but you won't always be able to for numerous reasons. The limit is when you're harmed in some way. If the help you want to give will make you sacrifice things that are important to you, then it's not worth it, except in extreme cases. But extreme cases rarely happen. Deal with a problem with the intensity it deserves. This means that you don't always have to be available to fulfill others' requests. A shorter and simpler example is, your neighbor is going out and asked you to take care of her dog. But you have to focus a lot on an important work and can't be distracted by other things. In this case, you need to say no, even if you like her. However, if you're at home calmly and without major commitments, it won't be a problem to do it. Notice that the issue isn't your kindness or your character, but the situation you're in. Actions to be more determined. When you're a pushover, people demand more and more from you. This means that the boundaries aren't clear and they go on without thinking about how something can harm you. So, you keep pleasing and expecting some kind of recognition, gratitude, or consideration. The reality is that the more you do, the less people value it, because they get used to your help and come to believe that it's your obligation. Therefore, not always being available will also make people recognize it more when you do something good for them. Thinking about this, you need to set boundaries before it gets to the breaking point. To do this, you need to be firm but not cruel or rude. Being firm means understanding that you're sure of the decisions you're going to make, and being aware that it's the best for everyone. You don't need to give so many explanations. Just inform your decision and briefly explain the reason if relevant. Still, you need to understand that you'll offend some people, not because of your words, but because of your choices. You'll offend those people who are very used to counting on you anytime and for anything. These people will have to learn to live with you differently.